So should pit bulls be outlawed? Well, before we answer that question, what is a pit bull? The term pit bull is a blanket term that refers to only three breeds of dogs: the American Pit Bull Terrier, the American Staffordshire Terrier, and the Staffordshire Bull Terrier. Anything else, including mixes, is actually not a pit bull. So, is there a problem with pit bulls? Many people assume that a pit bull is any dog that looks like a pit bull, and that's not the case. The Center for Disease Control's non-fatal bite statistics come from newspaper reports of pit bull type dogs, no purebred pit bulls. No DNA tests were ever done, which is the only way to determine its real breed. This is the reason why breed-specific legislation doesn't work and never will work. The CDC says, quote, breed-specific legislation does not address the fact that a dog of any breed can become dangerous when bred or trained to be aggressive. From the scientific point of view, we are unaware of any formal evaluation of the effectiveness of breed-specific legislation in preventing fatal or non-fatal dog bites. An alternative to breed-specific legislation is to regulate individual dogs and owners on the basis of their behavior. The American Temperament Test Society performed a temperament on pit bulls, and the description of the test is as follows. The test simulates a casual walk through a park or neighborhood where everyday life situations are encountered. During this walk, the dog experiences visual, auditory, and tactile stimuli. Neutral, friendly, and threatening situations are encountered, calling into play the dog's ability to distinguish between non-threatening situations and those calling for watchful and protective reactions. The dog fails the test if it shows unprovoked aggression, panic without recovery, and strong avoidance. Guess what? American Pit Bull Terriers pass the test at a rate of 85.3%. So, are pit bulls vicious, or are their owners vicious? Time magazine gave a statistic that pit bulls make up for 6% of the dog population, and yet they're responsible for 68% of dog attacks and 52% of dog-related deaths since 1982. So after what we just discussed, why are these percentages so high? Maybe it's not the dog that's the problem, but the owners of the dogs. Many pit bull owners, including myself, are quick to assert that a dog's tendency to be violent is due to its owner and how it is raised. And there is plenty of evidence that pit bull owners and other high-risk dogs are high-risk people themselves. Haven't you ever noticed that dogs tend to reflect the same kind of personality of their owners? A 2006 study from the Journal of Interpersonal Violence revealed that owners of vicious dogs were significantly more likely to have criminal convictions for aggressive crimes, drugs, alcohol, domestic violence, crimes involving children, and firearms. So is it really the dog, or is it the owner behind the dog? My experience with pit bulls is very different from the statistics that were shown from Time magazine. I have a pit bull mixed dog named Buddy, and he is the sweetest dog I've ever owned. And although he's not a purebred pit bull, he is still a pit bull type dog, which is labeled as violent. Buddy is incredibly loyal, and that is where I think the violence comes from. One, if the owners train them to be violent, then they will be, because they're extremely loyal dogs. And two, if the owners are attacked, the pit bull will defend them no matter what, because of that loyalty. So if we're going to outlaw pit bulls because of the violence, then we should outlaw the owners of pit bulls, because the owner trains and teaches how a dog behaves. I think outlawing pit bulls is absolutely ridiculous and doesn't solve the heart of the problem. It just makes the dog a scapegoat instead of the owner of the dog. So here's a taste of my stubbornness. I don't care what the law says. Buddy is staying with me. And if I ever own a pit bull in the future, he or she will be like family regardless of what the law says. Pit bulls shouldn't be outlawed.